And on site today, like I told you earlier on, we're looking at sustainability of your properties, but sustainability of your property just doesn't start when you're done with your construction or when everything is complete and then you think, now I can start to sustain my property. Sustainability of your property actually starts from the planning process. So are you doing this right? On set with me is Perry Amon. Perry, it's a pleasure having you on set.
Thanks so much, Christabell. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a big fan of your show.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. Perry is from a company. If you were at the expo that concluded in August, you should have dealt with Perry's, members of this company, and the company is Aviva. So Aviva, I know about Aviva, but the audience out there watching doesn't know who Aviva is. We hear the name Aviva and you're thinking, what does Aviva mean? So I want you to tell us who Aviva is and what Aviva means and why the name Aviva.
So Aviva is basically a technology-fast construction company. And the word Aviva means light. And what we're trying to do is to shed light on the construction industry and to demystify it for the ordinary person, the ordinary Ugandan, to make it as easy and as enjoyable as possible to build. Building has become a nightmare for so many people in Uganda. There's so many people being conned. There's so many errors that are made during the construction process. And we want to take all that away and make it as easy as possible for the average consumer. How we're doing that is by focusing on technology and finding ways to leverage technology to make the construction process easier, more efficient, and most importantly, more affordable for the ordinary person. Yeah, because if you think about it, building a house is probably one of the biggest expenses that any ordinary person will have in their entire lives, right? It's the biggest investment you'll ever make. And the thing is that you want to get it right. But what happens most of the time is that there's so many mistakes that are made, or there may be so many issues that happen in the construction process that make it turn it from being a joy into being a nightmare. And we want it to be a joy for everyone and to be able to have their dream home at the end of the day.
So after giving all this background to who Aviva is, how is Aviva making housing or home ownership, property development in Uganda more affordable, more realistic, and more sustainable?
So one of the ways that we're doing that is, as I mentioned, through technology. And one of the technologies that we have that helps make the process a bit easier and better for the consumer is virtual reality. We are very, very big believers in planning. We believe that planning is basically 80% of the project. If you plan your project and manage it correctly, that is 80% of the work done. And so what virtual reality allows you to do is to step into a space and get to experience what your property is going to look like before it's even built. You see, what happens is a lot of people, like you mentioned, you start constructing partway, then you call in maybe an architect to come and beautify the space. And what happens is you end up having to break or start having to do corrections. There's so many additional costs that happen in that process. But what virtual reality allows you to do is to experience the space entirely. You feel like you're there, like you're actually in your house before it's even been built.
And how does this cut down my costs on construction?
So what this allows you to do is to make any changes. Instead of you now first building and then you decide maybe to break or to add a window here or to change the color of the wall, you can get to make all those corrections before you've even put a single brick on your land.
And how accurate is this? On a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate is this?
I think virtual reality is the closest thing to reality that we've ever been able to do technology-wise. And we try to make it as realistic as possible. Everything you see, from down to the tiles, to the paint on the walls, to the plants, to the lighting. We even create the weather as it is on your piece of land. The sun that you get on your land is what you will see in the virtual reality, such that you can also assess and see what your house will look like in natural light as well.
Given the fact that you're saying, you didn't give me an exact estimate to how how far this is a reality when it comes to the actual groundwork. You didn't give me an exact estimate, so I'm still looking for that estimate. On a scale of 1 to 10, how real or how close is virtual reality to reality? Let's say if I walked into a room and I want my room to face maybe the south, but I also want to have like a place where the sun can set, where I can see that, but I don't want it to be so fully opened and all that. Just giving a rough estimate or a rough example. How close am I to able to achieve this with virtual reality?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 10, because what happens is we get your plan. So if you have an architect, or whether we do the architecture for you, we get that plan and we do a survey of the location of the land where you're going to build, and then we create a virtual reality environment of that plan. So it's basically as realistic as it gets when it comes to.
So basically, it's as good as me walking through my property physically.
Exactly. Yes, it is as good as that. And in fact, we've had situations whereby we've made a comparison with our clients to say, okay, can you tell which one is the fake image? We show an image of a real house, an image of a rendered house.
A rendered house, or a 3D house, or an actual house?
An actual house, yes. And many times they can't tell the difference. That's how realistic it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I now I want to actually physically see that. You can just realize that we have the three core problems I personally find with our real estate is: one, we are so quick to copy design, not knowing it fits where we're putting it, not knowing if it fits the conditions we are putting it in, not knowing what was taken into consideration before we put that design. That is one. Two, we are so quick at choosing location, not knowing if it favors the design we want or doesn't favor the design we want. And then three, we are so quick to think we can achieve it on our own so that we can cut costs.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that?
All those people have a very important role in the construction process. But what we find is that if you're dealing with all of them on an individual basis, it becomes very complicated and very expensive. So one of the products that we have that actually helps to solve that is a product that we have called Built For You. And what Built For You is...
It's called?
Built For You.
Built For You.
Yes.
Okay.
So what Built For You is, it's primarily a residential product, and what is our pre-designed houses. So we have a number of pre-designed houses where all that work is already done. The interiors, the electricals, the architecture, everything is already done for you, and you don't have to pay for that. So you get that free of charge. Instead of dealing with 6 different individuals.
How do you get that free of charge? Now that's the interesting part.
So the interesting part is that the designs are already done. We do them ahead of time. So because the design is already done, you don't have to pay any of those costs. You don't have to pay for the architecture, for the interiors, for all those things. They are already done for you. You're still a bit free to make some modifications to make it your own.
If I visited your offices and say, you gave me this catalog to look at and choose from, and I chose what I wanted, but then I don't go on to use your services for construction, how does that work?
You don't go on to use the services?
Yes. So I come to Aviva, look at your catalogs and all that, and I decide this is what I want, this is what I'm going with, but then at the end of it, I don't choose your firm to continue with the whole construction process. How does that work? Because that is where I'm keen to find out that no cost bit.
All right. So what happens is we don't charge you any cost for any of the design services if you're building with us.
Now
if you prefer to build it on your own or build with someone else, then still we can sell you the design. That's also an option.
Now that makes it clear for me, makes it a little bit easier. Because when you said at no cost, I'm thinking, okay, where is the catch? Where is the catch 22 at this? Because if it's at no cost, why are you Ugandan struggling with house design, struggling with interior, setups and all this?
As a company, because it's technology first, we decided to start a new company that specifically focuses on technology first. But we have about 15 years background in our sister company in construction, and we've done a huge number of projects.
Namely?
Yeah.
If you don't mind citing some of the projects.
But we've done a hospital in Jinja.
Okay.
We've done a condominium development in Nigeria. We've done another one. We're currently doing another one in Bunga side. So we have quite a number of projects.
How does this technological aspect, when it comes to virtual reality, cater for the sustainability in property ownership or property construction or commercial construction?
Okay, I think one thing that's very well known is that in construction there tends to be a lot of waste. There tends to be a lot of waste. If you've ever been on the average construction site, you can see how much rubbish is there, whether it's excessive sand, it's broken bricks, it's broken tiles, things like that. But technology helps when you use it well to plan ahead of time on the amount of waste, and it also increases the sustainability of the building.
Back to sustainability. You are saying that with Aviva technology or reality virtual concept that you have, you are telling me I can be able to know where my sun sets from, where my sun rises from, where I have the highest temperatures, where I have the lowest temperatures, where I have the most humidity. Are you able to tell all that?
Yes, we're able to basically give you all the information. You can change every small thing. You can even do the interiors, like how you see this, and you know exactly what your interior design is going to look like. So you can pick out the colors, you can pick out the whatever painting is going to go on the wall, the furniture. So by the time you start to even lay a single brick, you are so comfortable with how
And
your home is
100%
going
sure
to,
with how your
come
home
out.
is going to look. Perry, in conclusion, I'd like to know, when you talked about the built for you, actually, just to get it correct, it was built or build for you?
Built for you.
Built with the
Yes,
T.
with a T.
What is it exactly inside the built for you?
So the built for you is what we call a turnkey solution, and what that means is that, as of course we mentioned, there's the design side where we do everything, the architecturals, the interior, the electricals, and all that structure stuff, and then we move on to the construction. And the important thing about the construction is we try to take the stress out of that process. Construction is one of the hardest things in Uganda.
Sure.
People, I mean, every day they're calling you saying, "Oh, cement is done. So and so has stolen this from the site." We take that away from you, and because we manage that entire construction process. So all we're doing is giving you continual updates. You can come and check on the site, make sure everything is going as progressive. We have so many clients, for instance, who are in the diaspora. They've never seen their project being built, but who do it for them amazingly because we have continual updates and we have a very good project management process in line. So all that stress of construction is taken away from you, and what you're left with is a well done project, and then we just hand you over the key and you're ready to move in. So that's why we call it a turnkey solution. And also one important thing to note is people always find it surprising, but it's actually much cheaper than what they would spend otherwise. But also because they're pre-designed and we've done it for a number of clients, we know how to cut the cost as much as possible.
Let's say 9 2-bedroom apartments. My land is 58 feet by 40 feet. What would that cost me?
That's a custom project, but I'll give you another costing for, let's say, for the average person, a 3-bedroom house. 50 on a 50 by 100 plot, which I think is what most people have and where most people would like to start from. It's a 3-bedroom house with a home office, with a maid's room, with of course the normal kitchen and dining, a fresco dining as well, and a laundry room. That costs 195 million.
No way.
Yeah, with all those features that I've mentioned.
So apart from residential, I noticed we focus so much on residential. At the Property Show, we want every Ghanaian to be a homeowner. We want to reduce the housing deficit gap. What does Aviva have to offer to the commercial space of the Ghana's real estate industry?
So in the commercial space, we also do have an amazing offering. We do also apply the VR to commercial space, and that's also particularly beneficial for commercial space because you want to know what your space is going to look like, how a customer is going to experience it. Whether you're a small business like a boutique or you're a large business like a bank, you want to get a look and feel of what the final product is going to look like. And we have done a number of commercial spaces, so we have that expertise in being able to do it to that level of finesse and degree that is very fine, high quality finish. Yeah.
To you out there that was watching the show, now you know that you don't have to go through that hassle, the stress of construction, whereby you feel like was it even necessary? Was it worth it for me to go into construction? Was it better for me to just buy a finished house and just move in? No. Make those changes to your home, build your home, have that story to tell, know how that wall was broken or how that wall was put out or why you actually decided to have a pillar in that particular area. But if you have the dream to build your own home, then build your own home with the experts, and Aviva is here to help you do that. It was a pleasure having you on set.
Thanks so much, Christabell. I look forward to coming back soon.